This module is also a part of the modules which were dedicated towards the recapitulation of basic R. In this module, we will be discussing about some basic structures of the grouping functions that R offers us. We will tell you the cases where these kinds of functions will be used. We will show you what the syntax of these kinds of functions are. We will let you know what the structured data actually is, because this is something which is closely related to the apply functions. We will show you some of the detailed example which will tell you why these grouping functions will be used. In this module, we are going to discuss about several grouping functions that R offers us. We will tell you what actually is the mechanism of these functions, that is how it works. The syntax of each of the functions will be elaborated with the help of some examples. We will try to show you the cases where these functions will be used. So, let's see how it works. So, the question is, when do we use the apply function? The primary reason is that when we have some structured data that we like to perform operations on, then we will go for apply function. Now, here arises the question that what does structured function means? Here, structured function means in some form of matrix. Now, it works as a function to sections of an array and returns the results in an array. The basic syntax of an apply function is that apply within first bracket array, comma, margin, comma, function, comma, the elements whatever we want to put in within the function. Here it should be noted that an array in R is a very generic data type. It is a general structure of up to 8 dimensions. For specific dimensions, there are specific names for the structures. A 0-dimensional array is a scalar or a point. A 1-dimensional array is a vector, and a 2-dimensional array is a matrix. By now, we all know how to handle a scalar, vector or a matrix in R. So, structured data loosely means a data which has some kinds of a structure. Now, here comes the second element of the things which are there within the apply function. Like here, we are talking about margin. The margin argument is used to specify which margin we want to apply the function to and which margin we wish to keep. If the array we are using is a matrix, then we can specify the margin to be either 1 or 2. For 1, the function will be applied to the rows. So for 2, the function will be applied to the columns. The functions can be of any kind, like it might be built-in or it might be user-defined function in R. And the dotted signs which are there in the apply function refers to any other arguments that is passed to the function being used. Now, it should be noted that in R, the apply function internally uses a loop. So perhaps one of the other apply functions would be a better choice if time and efficiency is very important. Now, why we are telling this? Because we know that loops turn a program a bit slow, that is, it will increase the runtime of the program. So, let's consider the example. Here, what we do is we are considering a matrix which has 3 rows and 3 columns, and which contains the sequence of elements from 1 to up to 9. We are defining the matrix with the help of this command. So here is the A matrix, which contains the sequence 1 to n and which has 3 rows and 3 columns. Now here A is the array, 1 is the margin, and sum is the function which we wish to apply on the array. Now since the function which is written here is like apply A, 1, sum, so what we are basically getting is that we are getting the row sum of the matrix A. So the question is, why is this happening? Because when 1 is specified here, we know it indicates operation considering the rows. And since we have specified the function or operation to be the sum, the row sum here is taken. Similarly, if we use the command apply A, 2, sum, that is, if we just want to replace 1 with 2, we will have the column sum of the matrix A. So, here are the column sums of the A matrix. Now, we are using a user-defined function here. Here, if we calculate the row sum of the matrix A by simple program, we will write R is equal to null. For I in 1 to number of columns of A, Ri will be the sum of the ith row of A, and R will give us the row sums of the A matrix. Now, by using user-defined function inside apply function, we can get the same result. So, if we write down apply within first bracket A, 1, function of x, which is defined to be the sum of x, we will get the exactly same result. So, here we are defining the function which is actually equivalent to the sum. So, if we write sum instead of the function here, we will actually have the same result. But here we are giving you this example of using user-defined function so that you can use this simpler one to construct some more complicated user-defined functions which are very useful in most of the cases. So here comes the idea of Laplace function. This function applies a function to elements in a list or a vector and returns the results in a list. The Laplace function becomes especially useful when dealing with data frames. So just try and observe the difference between these and the previous one. Here within our Laplace function, the list is being used instead of array, which were used in case of apply function. So the basic syntax of Laplace function is that Laplace within first bracket list, function, the elements we want to include within the function. Let's consider the example to have an even closer view. Suppose A1, A2 and A3 are three vectors containing the scores of 10 students in English, Bengali and history respectively. So basically A1, A2 and A3 are three vectors each of length 10 and the values are given here. So here we are creating the following data frame which contains the marks of English, Bengali and history of the 10 students. In this data frame, the variables are the elements of list. Recall that we have already told you in some of the previous modules that the variables of the data frames are the elements in the list. Now, if we type info within the first bracket after is.list, then R will give us the message true. Now to obtain the sum of each of the variables, like the sum of the numbers in English, Bengali and history, we just need to type lapply within first bracket info, comma, sum. Here we are putting this value inside y. So we are writing y is equal to lapply info, comma, sum, and here is the y which contains the sum of each of the variables. Now to obtain the total score for each of the students, we just need to type the following command. Now, just like apply function, we can also build user-defined function in lapply. Here, if we type lapply within first bracket info, comma, function of xy, then sum x plus y, comma, y is equal to 5, what we have is that the number 5 will be added with each of the sum of the variables. That is why we have written sum of x plus y. So we are having the inflated values of each of the variables like English, Bengali and history. Since 5 is added to each of the sum of the 3 variables. Now let us consider this code. Here lapply function is used instead of the for loop. Here what we are writing is that we are writing unlist within first bracket lapply 1 to 5, comma, function of I and then print I. And the output will be like this. We can therefore apply a function to all the variables in a data frame by using the lapply function. Note that here we don't have any margin argument since we are just applying the function to each component of the list. Now let's concentrate on the sapply function. It applies a function to elements in a list and returns the results in a vector, matrix or a list. The basic syntax of this function is like sapply, then within first bracket list, comma, function, and in the last part simplify will be specified. Now we will discuss the significance of each of the arguments one by one. When the argument simplify is equal to false, then the sapply function returns the result in a list just like the lapply function. So basically the two will converge then. However, when the argument simplify is equal to true, which is the default one, then the sapply function returns the results in a simplified form if at all it is possible. If the results are all scalars, then sapply returns a vector. If the results are all of the same length, then sapply will return a matrix with a column for each element in list to which the function was applied. Now consider the previous example. We want to calculate the total score for each of the student. In this case, sapply function helps to get the result in a vector form. So what do? We will just type the following command and here is what the output is. Now, just like apply and lapply functions, we can also build user-defined function in sapply as well. For this, each of the sum for the variables will be increased by 2. Here comes the idea of the wapply function. This function works just like sapply except that you need to specify the type of the return value, that is integer or double or characters. Basically, wapply is safer and faster than sapply. It gives slight speed improvement and it improves consistency by providing limited return type checks. Now the question is why vapply is safer and faster than sapply. The second one that we just discussed gives us the greater advantage as it helps to catch errors before they happen and leads to more robust code. These return value checking could be done separately by using sapply to make sure that the return values are consistent with what we expected. But vapply is a bit easier and also are more limited since custom error checking code could check for the values within bounds. So let's see how it works. Suppose we are taking x to be 1, 2, 3, 4. So these 4 values are there within x. Now if we write the function within vapply, then R will give us the following thing. So basically R is returning us twice the values that we had given it. So we are stopping our discussion here. In the next module, you will see some other functions like mapply, rapply and tapply function in this series of functions and some other functions which are related to this as well. There are some rooms for more discussions regarding this topic, but we are stopping here, and in the next module we will see the application of these functions in some complicated situations, and also we will see how these functions acts as a substitute of many other programming techniques. In this module, we had discussed about some of the important apply functions which R offers us. Here we had discussed about some apply functions like lapply, sapply, apply and vapply. And with the help of some examples, we had shown you how these kinds of functions works. There are some more functions which were included in the apply family of functions. We will discuss about these functions extensively in the next module.